Her voice was steady when she said it, almost bored, like she'd rehearsed the line. "You'll never recover from this." A text. No context, no explanation. Just the final blow from a woman who used to sleep with her head on my chest. By the time the court order hit my inbox, the ranch was gone. The trucking company, mine before it was ours, gone. The dog I raised from a crying ball of fur, gone. She even changed his name. $22 million erased as if I'd imagined building it. I stared at the empty driveway where my truck used to sit, the dust settling like it was mocking me. My lawyer told me to fight back. I didn't, not then. At 33, I sat outside an Austin Starbucks in a borrowed sedan with an Uber sticker on the windshield, taking rides to pay for gas to take more rides. I lived in the kind of place where the air conditioner rattled like it was dying. Everything felt temporary. Until she left that purse. A forgettable passenger, black blazer, quiet, barely looked at me. She stepped out at some corporate building with mirrored windows that reflected the whole city back at itself. 10 minutes later, I saw the purse on the seat. I returned it because, honestly, I had nothing else left to lose. The assistant looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. "Oh my God, you're James Holloway's son, aren't you?" I almost laughed. "I don't know any James Holloway." "You?" Her voice cracked in a way that didn't make sense. She stepped back like she needed space to breathe. "He worked here in 1987. That was your father. He died 3 months ago." My father had been a ghost my whole life. A blank line on every form. A silence my mother never broke. The assistant's eyes softened. "He owned 75% of this company." Then she said the words that shifted the ground beneath me. And he left everything to his son. I'd never met the man, yet he'd watched me from whatever distance he lived in. He knew my name. He knew I existed. My ex-wife had taken everything, and fate, some twisted, calculating version of it, handed me something bigger. But nothing felt real, not yet. I spent 2 nights staring at the ceiling of my apartment, thinking about her text message. Thinking about how she smiled while taking things she hadn't built. Thinking about the way she touched my face the night before she filed for divorce. Gentle, rehearsed, a performance. There had always been signs. Late nights at the office, deleted messages, those sudden quiet phone calls she took in the hallway. That one argument where she said, "You think this ranch is because of you?" Back then, I ignored it. Not anymore. I didn't confront her. I didn't call. I didn't show up at her new condo with the man she'd left me for. Instead, I got a DNA test. Mine and James Holloway's estate records. I collected documents, emails, corporate filings, every detail of my new inheritance. Not to brag, not to return fire, just to build silence strong enough to crush her. When the final confirmation arrived, the official notice naming me controlling owner, I printed 1 copy. Just 1. Thin paper, quiet truth. I drove to her office in the same Uber rental. She walked out like she owned the sidewalk, confidence dripping off her like expensive perfume. Her eyes flicked to the car, confused. "Why are you here?" I didn't answer. I handed her the document. She scanned the first line, her expression tightening. By the second line, her breath shook. By the last line, she wasn't breathing at all. "This is a joke," she whispered. "No," I said. My voice felt like ice cracking in winter. "This is mine." Her face collapsed in real time. Every calculation, every smug smile, every ounce of certainty she'd taken from me melting into panic. You can't have all of this." "I already do." She stepped forward, desperate now. James Holloway was worth hundreds of millions. This company, this changes everything. James, please, just listen. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. Silence hits harder than anger ever could. She reached for me like we were still something, like I'd hand her the world she stole from me. I stepped back. Her fingers closed on empty air. When I turned to leave, she wasn't crying yet. She was holding her breath, trying to find the version of me she used to manipulate. He wasn't there anymore. Outside, the sunlight hit the glass windows, and for the first time in a long time, I saw my reflection without flinching. She once told me I'd never recover. She was right. I didn't recover. I became someone she could never touch again.